This dry and dusty piece of 500 acres of land on the outskirts of Jaipur once hardly had 30 trees on it. And today, this is what it looks like. This story is about breathing life into the barren land, going back to the old wisdom, bringing communities together and carving out a new way of living. This is the story of Dhun. Phagi Tehsil is 36 kilometers away from Jaipur in Rajasthan. Villages in Phagi used to practice traditional agriculture, but in 1981, the area saw huge flooding which completely ruined its topsoil.
यहाँ से थोड़ी दूर एक गांव है गुलाबपुरा, उसी के लोग यहाँ पे खेती करते थे, पशुपालन उनका चराते थे, वो सब करते थे। अच्छी ज़मीन थी यहाँ की, लोग गेहूँ बोते थे, चना बोते थे, बेजड़ बोते थे और जो बोते थे सरसों, ये सब यहाँ पे अच्छी पैदावार होती थी। 1981 में इधर इस एरिया में एक बाढ़ आई थी, बहुत तेज़ बरसात हुई थी, तो बाढ़ में यहाँ की जो उपजाऊ मिट्टी है वो बह के नदी में चली गई। यहाँ से थोड़ी दूर आगे बानी नदी है, तो धीरे धीरे ये ज़मीन है जो है बंजर हो गई।
With the topsoil gone and the unscientific ways of farming and irrigation that followed, the land slowly turned dry and dusty.
When I saw this land for the first time, the sheer size of it, 27 kilometers from Jaipur, less than 30 trees on 500 acres of land, and as many of the real estate pundits say, it's land with absolutely very low potential.
But he wasn't ready to give up on the land. He was deeply influenced by the communities living around Jaisalmer and their knowledge of climate resilient practices like water harvesting. He put this into practice.
I have lived in Jaisalmer for a very long time. What most of the world writes off as a desert, many people have called it their home for millennia. And the only reason why they have been able to turn the meager offerings that nature has to offer into an extraordinary wealth of culture is because the first thing that they are excellent with is how to tap water. So my inspiration was that. We thought the first thing that we can do, which is the lowest hanging fruit, is to capture the water that falls here. And the rainfall here is 3 to 4 times than the rainfall of Jaisalmer. So we built this water body, drawing inspiration from the traditional practices of water conservation, water harvesting in the desert ecologies of Rajasthan.
Manvendra and his team started by studying the history, topography, and traditional water harvesting systems of the place. And with the help of local knowledge and resources, he began the daunting task of digging the first pond on community land.
First and foremost is that आप जो भी locals हैं, उनसे पूछें कि यार यहाँ पर मतलब व्यवस्था क्या है। और ज़मीन को जब ऑब्जर्व करते हैं तो आपको बाय एंड लार्ज पता लग जाता है ज़मीन यहाँ पे टिल्ट हो रही है, यहाँ पे टिल्ट हो रही है। तो दैट विद द हेल्प ऑफ द लोकल्स दैट यू मीट, यू आर एबल टू गेट अ ब्रॉड सेंस कि पानी यहाँ से इकट्ठा होता है, यहाँ से चले जाता है। उसके बाद में हम लोगों ने एक 20 सेंटीमीटर बाय 20 सेंटीमीटर इंटरवल का काउंटूर सर्वे करवाया, जिसके अंदर ज़मीन एक्चुअल में धरातल पे कैसी है उसके बारे में हमें पता लगा। यू एक्सेस the vast pool of wisdom that has been generated by the living experiences of the people who have inhabited this region and synthesize it with technologies that are available to us.
But to bring the community together for digging a pond that will hold 140 million liters of water was a challenge in itself. To put it in context, 140 million liters of water is enough to meet the drinking needs of 50,000 people for 2 whole months in India.
So natural drainage is to be marked out, catchments to be detailed, studied, and see how catchments can be further strengthened in order to bring the water to the lake. Then digging of the lake, then the embankment on which we are standing just now, strengthening of this embankment, okay, in terms of grasses, trees, all of that. Yeah. And from where the water will come, if it has to overflow, from where will the overflow go and go where?
After 3 months of back-breaking work, the team finally achieved their target. The first pond, which is now known as Galania Talab, was a major milestone in transforming the land. With this pond in place, the land slowly transformed in color. Greenery began to appear, which gave the villagers a new hope to look forward to.
पानी का तालाब भरने के बाद जल स्तर कुओं का वापस आया है, ऊंचा हुआ है और खेती का काम शुरू हुआ है। किसानों की आय बढ़ी है, पशुओं का पानी पीने को लिए पशुओं को पानी मिला है। इसके साथ में ही महिलाओं की आजीविका बढ़ी है। लोगों को लगता है कि जैसे पानी इकट्ठा करने से हमें फ़ायदा है, तो उस तालाब का रखरखाव भी करना शुरू किया। उनको लगता है कि ये अपना है और इसको देख के इस साल हमने 2 और नाड़ियाँ खुदवाई है इसी जगह और उनको पानी आना शुरू हो गया है। अभी 2 तालाब और इसी के बराबर के इस गांव में खुदे हैं।
As for Manvendra, the pond gave him a new sense of purpose. Seeing what water can bring to the land changed him completely. He began to see the possibilities of creating an ecosystem in his land. The next step for him was to dig more water bodies throughout his land to harvest rainwater and to ensure that water became a perennial feature of the area.
We went into building swales on that same natural drainage. Yeah, we came to a point where lakes were made on that same natural drainage. We did medbandis, farm bunds. Medbandis are which catch water, hold it and make it percolate. These medbandis started to be the ones which would build moisture retention in soil.
And their hard work and vision finally started showing results. Within the next 2 years, the land started to rejuvenate itself. More and more trees started to grow. The ponds teemed with life and biodiversity. The land where only crows were visible started to attract hundreds of birds and animals.
अब यहाँ स्पीशीज़ बायोडाइवर्सिटी की बात अपन करते हैं तो बर्ड्स का हमारा अभी एक सीज़न ये बाकी है रेनी सीज़न, लेकिन हमने देखा कि 120 से ऊपर हमारा बर्ड स्पीशीज़ रिकॉर्ड हो चुका है। इसी तरह वाटर बॉडीज़ में इंडियन फ्लैपशेल टर्टल है और हम वाटर स्नेक जो होता है चेकर्ड कीलबैक वो भी हमने देखा।
And today, this area has recorded more than 120 species of birds, 70 species of native trees, and many species of animals. This land has indeed been brought back to life.
Water is the source of life. पानी आने के बाद में life in ways that you can't even imagine, it starts propping up. इसको जब हम लोगों ने खोदा था तो इसके अंदर कुछ भी नहीं था। अभी देखिए आप एल्गी की पूरी कॉलोनीज हैं, वाटर प्लांट्स पूरे बन चुके हैं, हज़ारों तरह के वर्टिब्रेट्स इनवर्टिब्रेट्स यहाँ पे मतलब आ गए जिस ज़मीन पे कुछ भी नहीं था। और उसके अंदर कोई क्रेडिट ले कि मैंने करा या उसने करा, वो कुछ नहीं है। इट्स द लैंड्स ओन एबिलिटी टू ट्रांसफॉर्म इटसेल्फ एज सून एज देयर इज वाटर।
But this is just the beginning. Manvendra now aspires to create a community that lives close to nature, a space that is away from the chaotic and unsustainable life of the city, a place that is truly in tune with its natural environment. He has named his project Dhun.